Guys, we're back with the notes for 6.5. We're talking about polynomial applications. So basically, still the same things that we've already been learning. We're just going to be doing them with geometric shapes now. So you're going to be finding perimeter, meaning that we're adding polynomials. You might be finding area, which means we're multiplying polynomials, or it could be a binomial. And then for volume, we're doing it twice. So you're going to multiply the first two pieces together because it's three-dimensional and multiply by the third one. I'm going to give you lots of examples. So go ahead and meet me on problem 1. So the first thing we're talking about is perimeter. The perimeter of a rectangle would mean that you add up all the sides. Well, in order to make sure I can do that, it's important that I know that the opposite sides are the same. So I'm going to copy 3x squared minus 4x. And on this side, I'm going to copy again 4x squared plus 5x. Okay? All right, so now that I know all the sides, I can go through and add up all my pieces. When we add, we combine like terms. So if I have 4x squareds and 3x squareds, that makes 7. Plus 4 more is 11. Plus 3 more is 14. So I have 14 x squareds. I don't change the exponent. All I do is add up all the x squareds. Okay? All right, for my second one now, I need to add up all of the x's. So I have a 5 minus 4 is 1, plus 5 is 6, minus 4 is 2. So I have plus 2 x's. All right, I've used up all my terms. I've combined all my pieces. So 14x squared plus 2x is going to be my final answer. Take a second, write that down, and we're going to go on to area. For area, we're going to do length times width. So if I think about the formula, area equals length times width. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. I'm going to use, let's say, the top one. So my length is 3x squared minus 4x times my width. So 4x squared plus 5x. That's the second one. Okay? All right, so if I have those pieces and I see that I'm multiplying binomials, that means I'm going to need a Punnett square. All right, I'm going to put my first term on the left, so 3x squared minus 4x. Second term's on the right, or second binomial on the right. 4x squared plus 5x. All right, I'm jumping inside so that you can see the difference. Okay, 3 times 4 makes 12. X squared times x squared is to the 4th power. 3 times 5 is 15. X squared and another x makes to the 3rd power. Negative 4 times 4 is a negative 16. An x and x squared makes x to the 3rd power. Negative 4 times 5 is a negative 20. An x times an x is an x squared. We've already talked about several times this year that we're going to combine any like terms and order them highest degree first. So my final answer for area is going to be 12 x to the 4th. Negative 16 plus 15 is a negative 1 x to the 3rd. And then minus 20 x squared. I know that you can't cut it, but this is my final answer, so I want to make sure that it's on my area line. That is the area of my polynomial. Okay. All right, take a second, pause it if you need to, go ahead and write that down. And we're going to move on to number 2. All right, problem number 2 says find the area of a square background. I think it's supposed to say a backyard. With a side length of 2a minus 6. Now, some things we need to know about this one. First is that it's a backyard. Second of all, a square means what? A square should mean that all the sides are the same. So let me see if I can shrink this just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and label all the sides around my piece. Should have 2a minus 6, 2a minus 6, and 2a minus 6. All right, so the first question says, find out how much fencing would be needed to surround the yard. Well, fencing means that we're going to be going, let me grab my highlighter, means that we're going to be going around the outside. In other words, that's the perimeter. Okay, so fencing means perimeter. So on this problem, we're going to do our adding skills again. To find perimeter, we add. I'm going to go ahead and add up all of my A's first. I have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's going to make 8 A's. I need to add up all my not A's, which are my 6's. Negative 6 minus 6 makes negative 12. Minus 6 again is negative 18. Minus 6 again is a negative 24. So my final answer is perimeter equals 8A minus 24. Okay. Take a second, go ahead and copy anything you need to, and I'll meet you on the next page. All right, problem number 3 says Kayla wants to put new carpeting in her living room, which is a rectangle. The length is 4n plus 1, the width is 2n plus 6. Find the amount of carpet she needs in terms of n. All right, so if we're filling up the space with carpet now, that's not perimeter. Okay, when you fill in carpet, that's an area. So in this problem, we want to remember our formula. Area is length times width. It said our length is 4n plus 1, and our width was 2n plus 6. We are multiplying binomials, which means we need a Punnett square. I put my first binomial on the left, my second binomial on the right. Let me give you just a second to copy that down. Pause it if you need to. And we're going to go ahead and fill it in. 4n times 2n is 8n squared. 4n times 6 is 24n. 1 times 2n is 2n. 1 times 6 is 6. We remember that we're going to combine our like terms. Order the degrees from highest to lowest. So my area is 8n squared. These are going to combine to make 26. So 26 n's and plus 6 at the end. That is my final answer. That is the area in terms of my n. All right, take a second, pause it if you need to. We're going on to 4. All right, problem number 4, it says find the volume of a prism. First thing that it's important to notice is that you know what volume formula is. So the volume is the length times the width times the height. So if I was going to color code these for you, I would probably say that my length is the 3xy. I would say that my width is the 4xy. And I would say that my height is that 6y. xy, sorry. All right, so we've already talked about how to multiply all these. This is the laws of exponents, okay? All of these are monomials. There's no pluses or minuses in here, okay? So if we're going to do that, we're going to multiply all of these whole numbers together. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 6 is 72. Okay, we're going to go through and we're going to figure out how many total x's we have. Well, we have 1 here in the L, 1 here in the width, 1 here in the height, so x to the third. Same thing for the y's. How many y's do I have? Well, 1 from the length, 1 from the width, 1 from the height. Y to the third. That is the volume for my prism. Okay. Take a second, copy that down, and I'll meet you on problem 5. All right, problem 5 says find the volume for the cube. I'm going to go ahead and set this problem up the same way that we just did because I'm talking about volume and it is a 3-dimensional figure. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up like this. All right, so on this problem we have x plus 3 as our length. But we have a special rule. Whenever we're talking about cubes, all of these are the same. My length times my width times my height. Okay? So what we can do is plug each value in as the exact same thing. Okay? So my volume is going to be, let me shrink this just a little bit so we have room to work. My volume is going to be x plus 3 times x plus 3 times x plus 3 all over again. Okay? Now, we can only do 2 at once. Oops. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and multiply these first two, and then we'll multiply whatever we get by x plus 3 one more time. Okay? All right, I'm going to make a really small Punnett square up here. We're going to be using x plus 3 and x plus 3. Okay? I'm going to pause for a second. Go ahead and write that down. Okay? Multiplying into my Punnett square, we're going to get x squared, a 3x, and a 9. I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms right here. That gives us x squared plus 6x plus 9. All right, now I do not have my volume yet. All I have right now is my first length times width. So we're going to need to multiply using a 6 box. Okay, if you don't remember how to do that, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and set it up with you. Okay, all right, let me shrink this just a little bit so we have some space to work again. All right, so I'm going to put mine over here. And we always go 2 by 3, so I'm going to put the x plus 3 on this side. I'm going to put the x squared plus 6x plus 9 on this side. I'm going to change colors so you know which one I'm using. And I'm going to start filling in my boxes. This one's x to the third, x times x squared. X times 6x makes 6x squared. X times 9 is 9x. If you need to pause it and go a little bit slower, you can. Bottom row, 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times 6x is 18x. 3 times 9 is 27. Okay. Remember that we're going to combine our like terms that are the x's, and we're also going to combine our like terms for the x squareds. Let's go ahead and write out our answer. My answer for this comes out to be x to the third power, highest degree first. 3x squared and 6x squared makes 9x squareds. 18 plus 9 makes 27 x's. And 27 is our last term. Therefore, my volume is x to the third plus 9x squared plus 27x plus 27. That's the last problem I have for you in the notes. You can go ahead and get started on 6.5 practice. Next time I see you, we will be working on the review, so make sure that this assignment gets done. Have a good afternoon.